Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, we welcome in the new year with Wrestle Kingdom 15, both nights. Our recap, a huge night of Wednesday Night Wars, a big-time angle at the end of Dynamite, a big-time match at the end of NXT. Goldberg returns! And a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast.
Now, see, that's the shit he's talking. That's the shit Goldberg's talking about. Disrespecting your elders.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Marks, and welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. As always, I am your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Hand Aykroyd. And out there in Edwardsville, Illinois, we have Two Beer. Zach Pullman, what's going on, Two Beer?
Not much, just warming myself by the dumpster fire that is the United States of America.
Yeah, have you climbed any Capitol buildings today, Zach?
Not today, that was yesterday. I am very tired from my flight back to D.C.
Oh, you flew, huh? During COVID.
Yep, I'm just really hoping the police don't show up because I'm all over that Capitol.
You did look like a couple of guys out there. Actually, I did too. And to my left, making his triumphant return. Happy New Year. We have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Allow us to bow our heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 187, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It is all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. Happy New Year. Happy Festivus. Happy all Kwanzaa, all that other good shit. Couple quick shout outs. Shout out to Michael Zander. I did because I was not here last week. He went to ProWrestlingTees.com and bought a couple of shirts for himself for the holiday season, I would suppose. So big shout out to Michael Zander. Thank you very much for the contribution. I hope you like your shirts. Give us some feedback. Let us know how it works.
A regular contributor to the Friends of BFR on Facebook page too. So what's going on? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
And what was I going to say?
How you doing?
Yeah, right. Zach kind of stole my joke, but I'll just say it like this. I'm ready to talk about a week of trial by combat, if you will, to kick off the new year. I can't wait. Let's get it going.
Those fucking idiots. We are coming at you from cloudy South St. Louis. In my basement, Reba's here. She hasn't seen Jason in a while. He's petting her, and she's just staring at him. She's just looking up at him. Jason, there was a tremendous week of wrestling.
Agreed.
There was tons of stuff that happened.
Agreed.
And Goldberg. And before we get too far into it, Jason, why don't you tell us about F&B Eatery?
F&B Eatery on the corner of 3453 Southampton and Marquette, home of the greatest smash burger you've never heard of. Start off the new year right. 2021 is here, so let's do it the right way. Slide on in, get you a smash burger, take the kids with you, get the kids out of mom's hair. That way you can do two birds, one stone, baby. F&B Eatery on the corner of 3453 Southampton and Marquette. Tell them that Banned from Ringside sent you.
Let's get to that 3 counts.
1, 2, 3.
JCB, kick us off.
Well, we usually do it chronologically. Well, it was chronologically because it was Sunday morning. Sunday morning, 2-ish Central Standard Time. Started a couple of days of insomnia for your boy, but it was all worth it. Wrestle Kingdom kicks off a 2-day, I'll say it.
Extravaganza.
I didn't want to say extravaganza because that was your word. I'll use the words that my boys across the pond always say. It was a masterclass of professional wrestling. We'll just cut to the chase. Kota Ibushi does beat Naito night 1. I thought that was a good match. It wasn't nearly as the train wreck that I was expecting to see, but nonetheless a good match, and then doubles down to beat Jay White in the longest match in, I believe, Wrestle Kingdom or Tokyo Dome history. It was
Tokyo Dome history.
Okay, I thought it was one of the two, if not
48 minutes.
It did not feel like 48 minutes. I said it on Twitter, when they said the 20-minute time limit had gone by. I'm like, what? This is 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, shit. So that's when I was like, let me sit back, pack another bowl, because this really getting ready to get on. By that point, it was no advantage either way. I'll just say this. Kota Ibushi, this was like Naito last year, but for the Kota Ibushi fans, they got to go through that roller coaster ride that I went through last year. So kudos to that. I know there's plenty of motherfuckers out there that was losing their shit. I think the bigger angle coming out of that double main event is the supposed, and I'm going to use supposed, departure of one Jay White. Now, Jay White, if you did not watch the backstage comments, which you should, especially with New Japan, that's where you get tidbits of what could be, and you see the promos that you're used to seeing with WWE, Impact, AEW. It's just done backstage. It's like Bill says, it's treated like a true blue sporting event. Now, that said, Jay White, after the main event on night 2, came back and had one of the most epic meltdowns I think I've ever seen in my life. I mean, literally, I was so enthralled that I let my cigarette burn because I was watching it so, and he had me so hooked. So the question was now
weed might
thrown
have had
out.
something to do with that.
No, this was early in the morning. It's like 8:39.
I said,
I hadn't hit it yet. I was going to say I wanted to do my thing, so I was smoking the cigarette. So anyway, I'm watching this promo, and I'm like, man, if I didn't know any better, I think this was actually going to happen. In my heart of hearts, I know he's not going to leave New Japan. He might leave to go on a sabbatical, disappear for a little bit, come back at Dominion, wreak havoc. Jay White's not going anywhere. But the point is that his promo was so good. The match was so good. Then the promo on top of it, to me, was like the cherry on top of it. It really made that match stand out amongst the 2 nights of just great fucking matches. I mean, Ospreay and Okada was a just ridiculous match night 1. I thought El Phantasmo and not Ishimori, but Takahashi was a good match, and that was the setup for the night 2 barn burner that he had with Ishimori.
Banger to Shingo, Jeff Cobb.
Physical as fuck. And
it was awesome.
And I never thought you would see Shingo get thrown around the way that Jeff Cobb threw him around. G.O.D., pulling some fuckery, stealing the tag titles away from Dangerous Tekkers. There was so much shit that was going on. By the first night, I was ready to watch night 2 immediately. I didn't want to wait 24 hours. This is why I think Wrestle Kingdom got it right doing it 2 nights. And even if it was, I don't care if this was pandemic, and it wasn't pandemic the first time around. First time around was last year. 2020 was such a long fucking year. They did it right by doing it for 2 nights, and I'll step off the soapbox after this point. Doing it by 2 nights, especially like with matches with the junior heavyweight title match, where you had the Super J Cup winner, and then you had the best of Super Junior winner face each other in night 1, and you had the winner face the champion night 2. That's simple, but such smart booking. It doesn't even make sense. And both matches were banger-ass matches. And the reason why you do 2 nights is that you give every match a chance to breathe. One of the matches I didn't even give 2 shits about was Tanahashi and Great O'Khan. And that turned out to be halfway decent. It got Great O'Khan over.
Yeah, it did.
Ultimately, that's what it was supposed to do.
Zach, what's your biggest takeaway, or what's your take on the main event?
Yes, like that story that I was like hoping was going to be told was absolutely told, right? Like this is what we were talking about last week. It was Ibushi's time to shine. Ibushi is not just a star, he is the star, right? He's the golden star. And
he's a god now.
Right now. Yes. But I think the biggest takeaway outside of that is Jay White. And this dude is 8 years into his career from like the first time he stepped into a ring. And he is arguably one of the best doing it now. And the guy's still young and has the potential to be one of the best of all time because he is a complete wrestler, right? He's got everything that one wants in a professional wrestler. His promo ability, off the chain. He falls off that chair, and I'm just dying. And huge babyface potential, right? Like, I felt like empathy for this guy. Like, when I'm watching it, you know, he's in the ring, he's this chicken shit heel, and he's so good at being a heat seeker and drawing heat. And then he's just broken. And it's really cool character development, like really cool character development. And I am extremely interested to see where he goes. And I don't mean like to WWE, I just mean like where he goes in New Japan, because I feel like he'd be silly to leave his position. But it's great to have him like kind of cool off. I think personally, if it was me, I would have him enter LIJ to take Evil's spot in LIJ, and there'd be some nice like symmetry there. But that's just me fantasy booking.
That is
but
quite the fancy.
It would be, right? It'd be so cool. But anyway, amazing wrestling. This was just top notch. I didn't think night 2 could beat night 1, especially after seeing night 1 and then looking at night 2 on paper. I'm like, oh, you know, definitely like, going to be some good matches, but it's hard to say which night was better. These were just phenomenal shows, and Ospreay Okada, I think, kind of takes the cake for me for night 1, and I just really love that style of match. They wrestled like not like they had previously, and also kind of not like really expected them to, but they totally were just like, we're gonna have an all-time classic Tokyo Dome wrestling match, and they wrestled it almost like kind of like a 90s All Japan, but like less dangerous, right? And then Ibushi and Naito go in there, and we kind of know what to expect from them, but then they also kind of like toned it back. But the storytelling of it was they did all these teases of all this crazy shit, and you expected this dangerous match, but there was stuff on Dynamite and NXT, both shows, that was more dangerous than anything that they did in Naito Ibushi Tokyo Dome main event.
Except for
awesome.
there was one spot in the Naito Ibushi match. I think now I can't remember what it was. I've watched so much wrestling this week.
I think it was a German, and Ibushi landed like pretty much on his head.
Yeah.
No, it was something off the rope onto the side, onto the ground. This is bad pod. Sorry, I can't remember it. So go ahead, Zach.
But yeah, the coolest part of that match to me was the ending. So you have Ibushi hitting the Kamigoye, you know, for second or third time, I can't remember. But like Jason said, these matches, like, although long, moved at such a clip. Like, I never felt bored. I never felt like the matches were going on long. But Ibushi's exhaustion, where he's just essentially unconscious, you know, and they're both laying there unconscious. And they essentially have to wake Ibushi up, and he doesn't even know that he's won, and he tries to cover
him for the pin.
again.
I'm like, dude, this is nuts.
Yeah, he tried to hook the leg.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you won. You won.
It's like he doesn't even hear his music playing, right?
I'm sure that's happened somewhere in the annals of the history of wrestling. I can't remember it happening. I think,
but it was.
I think that's how. I think Zach texted us or something like, "That's how you sell a match." Yeah, that's motherfucker. That's how you sell a match.
And then night 2, where Jay White is just kind of, you know, still going at, you know, the titles are like right in front of him, and he's reaching for the titles, and Red Shoes is starting to pull it away from him. And that camera angle, the camera angle is so fucking amazing, because it puts you right there. You see the titles in the foreground, Jay White's in the background, and all you see him is like reaching out for the titles, and Red Shoes is like, "Nah, dog, this ain't for you." I'm like, that's the only time I felt bad for him.
And also, the camera doesn't cut 80 times, but yeah, and then Naito won't let Red Shoes give him the belts. He has to hand them to him himself. And unlike Hogan handing Ultimate Warrior the belt, this is not about Naito, although it definitely shows character development of Naito, because, I mean, when we started doing this podcast, Naito didn't give a shit about anybody or anything. He beat that Intercontinental title till it was broken. And, like, the whole thing was just absolutely beautifully done. And, yeah, night 2, the storytelling in that main event, that was one of the best matches. Like, I mean, that match was as great as Shingo and Jeff Cobb was, and it's exactly what I expected it to be, and actually better. And Takahashi and Ishimori, we've seen those guys, and that was excellent. that Jay White and Ibushi, we've seen that before too, but the storytelling, I mean, that was one of the best wrestling matches I've ever seen. I was just so enthralled, and it made me wish that I would have been up with everybody, and I should have just woken up and just done the damn thing. But, it's a hard year, you guys. It's a hard time. I just couldn't do it.
Look, I stayed up for both of us, man. I'm still kind of exhausted, but it was worth the ride, man. It was totally worth it. Totally worth it. Got up for New Year's Dash, too. It was off the chain.
So I'll just I'll piggyback off what you guys said. I'll go down the card a little bit. I think that night 2, the highs were higher. And that's why I'd give it to night 2, because White Ibushi was incredible. Takahashi Ishimori was incredible. Shingo Jeff Cobb was a fucking banger. We also should mention that Jon Moxley did make an appearance via promo.
Much shit.
He made an appearance, and Jon Moxley said that whoever wins out of Kojima and Kenta, he was ready for him, and he was not going to not defend that belt. And he still got the U.S. championship. And Kenta and Kojima, I know Kojima's a legend, and obviously he respects the fuck out of Kenta because they had a really good match.
It's like you said, it was better than what it should have been.
Yeah.
Kojima totally brought it. I mean, like, that guy can still go. Like, he's 50, but, like, just like Nagata, he can still go. And, of course, Suzuki. But Suzuki's just like, I don't even know if he's human.
It is really something, though, to watch all of G1 and watch Okada keep trying to get that money clip over, keep trying to get that money clip over, keep trying to get that money clip over. And then 30 minutes into his Wrestle Kingdom 15 match with Ospreay, he just busts out the Rainmaker. He's like, fuck this motherfucker. Boom, you're down. Boom, you're down. That was my favorite match of night 1. I was so into that Okada Ospreay match. It was very good. Great O'Khan, I'm not sure that Great O'Khan, he's got lots of potential. I'm not sure that he was ready for that moment or if he performed as well as he could have in that moment. He's just so methodical that a match that long with an aging Tanahashi. Now, Tanahashi still brings it. I'm not knocking Tanahashi. But a match 17 minutes long,
okay, I'll push back for 30 seconds. A, you probably should have made the match, but B, we already went down this road. So C, how much time are you really going to give them? You don't want to make this a squash because the Empire, unfortunately, they took the L's across the board for the weekend, but there's still that next faction that's, fingers crossed, that's going to be on the rise in New Japan. So you got to give a little time to that match. You got to make Great O'Khan look strong, which for the most part he did.
Yeah, he did. I thought Tanahashi made him look great.
Yeah.
And Tanahashi still went over, which I think
win-win.
I think that Zach and I both called, but I don't remember.
No, actually, we were both wrong.
Were we both wrong? Did we both say Great O'Khan?
Wow. Okay.
You didn't listen?
No.
You motherfucker.
Because Tanahashi they've really just been beating him. I thought, he was going to be putting him over. But they did the cool thing, and they put him over in the loss, and it's Tanahashi at the Tokyo Dome. And it took Okada years to beat Tanahashi at the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, that's what Okada said.
So why is Great
comment.
O'Khan going to pop in here as soon as he gets back from excursion? So that makes sense. And they made him look good in the loss because it took 2 high-fly flows, which is not a common thing, right? Like, it took 2 of those high-fly flows. So, like, he looked good. Even though, like Bill said, he's very methodical. He almost wrestles like a 1970s, like, big heel.
And it was just it wasn't a good build to it. Let's just call it for what it was. I mean, all of a sudden, it just felt like, boom, here's this match made. I get it, but the build wasn't a normal New Japan build.
GOD goes over the Dangerous Techers, which is a bummer because I like Taichi and Zack Sabre so much, but they've had those belts for a long fucking time.
They said 6 months in the backstage comment sounds right. It didn't feel like 6 months. Maybe, like I said, the pandemic makes 6 months feel like 6 years. But
Yeah, I thought it was longer than that.
I thought it was longer than that too. But I mean, Zack Sabre Jr.
No, they took it from Tanahashi and Ibushi at the studio or at the stadium show in the summertime.
Okay, the Summer Struggle show. Okay, that sounds right. Okay, so that's okay. Then that feels about right. It's just that's the one negative about New Japan. God bless it. The tag team division, it's at least is relevant, but it could be better.
All right, there's two more things that I want to talk about, and one of them I'm going to be positive.
I know one of them.
One of them I'm going to be positive about. The other one I'm going to be negative about. You probably know them both, Zach. What do you guys want first? You want the positive?
I
always
think
want the
you're
bad
going
news
to be
first.
let me guess. I think you're going to be incredibly positive that Yano won the Battle Royal.
I was going to say Ibushi wasn't the only guy that won both nights. Yano won both nights. He walks out of there, king of pro wrestling. Man. Woo!
Man, get this bullshit out of here. I say this motherfucker ain't getting the ring. I'm like, I got up at 1 o'clock for this bullshit. I mean, I was hot. I was hot as hell. I'm like, man, okay, so this is how we gonna get this motherfucker in there? And now Fale and fucking Chase always can't fucking get along. I don't give a rat's
Did you watch the New Year's Dash?
Yeah. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this, dude?
Yano out there being cocky as fuck.
I'm like, this motherfucker, I don't go. Blood Girl Raven, not texted me, but tweeted me and asked me this, and it's an amazing question. Who has now the longer intro, Yano or Kenny Omega?
I mean,
that's a great question.
Yano.
Yeah.
It's got to be Yano.
Yeah, and that's
got to be Yano.
No, that is unacceptable.
I thought you were going to say Yano or Taker.
Yano is the Undertaker in New Japan. I mean, he wins all the time. Great.
Wins all the time, man. I love that Yano won both nights.
God
Come on,
damn,
he's funny,
dude.
man.
No,
Come on.
Look, do not get me wrong.
Zach, how many times have I just said to Jason, come on, man, he's funny.
Yes.
Plenty. I'm not going to sit up here and say he's not funny. My irrational hatred for Yano goes back to the very first G1 we all watched, and he beat Naito, and that just unacceptable, and it's been started there, and it's been downhill since. Yeah, exactly. Man, don't make me punch you.
I'm doing my Yano face to Jason right now.
Don't make me punch you.
The other thing is the bad. Can you guess this one, Zach?
Ooh, the bad. Trying to think of a bad thing on these shows, and
no, you got to think like he thinks.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, if you want to be a criminal, you got to. If you want to be the criminal, you got to be a criminal.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it was Sonata Evil.
Yeah, I should have known.
It was Sonata Evil, man. It's just that match went 23 minutes, and those guys. This is the second or maybe third time I've said this on Banned from Ringside, that those guys had a match that just did not seem like a match between two guys that had been tag team partners for as long as they were tag team partners. It doesn't seem like a blood feud. And here's the thing, and I think I realized this at Wrestle Kingdom this year. It's not Evil's fault. It's Sonata's fault. Sonata, sorry guys, I'm heating up. He's boring. He no-sells everything. It's not even no-selling. It's just like he's not even there. That match was boring. Dick Togo's involvement over and over and over again in every Evil match is boring. It's just that was a 23-minute match that was a popcorn match for me.
Okay. I'll jump on this one first. To agree, I'll agree with you on this. It did not feel like a blood feud like we've seen before in the past between two partners.
Well, nobody could argue that.
I would totally agree with you upon that. Sonata being boring, I got a tough time buying that one. I'm sorry. The G1 final, I think, for me, is a good example of probably what his ceiling is going to be in New Japan, at least for a while. I don't see him being champion for a while, maybe somewhere down the line. If they decide to unify the Intercontinental and the heavyweight title, which Ibushi wants to do, that takes an opportunity away from him. The IC title, I think, is probably the the ceiling for him if they keep them separate. If not, then I'm just not sure. I just don't see him as world champion, but I'm not sure I agree with the fact that he's boring. I think
probably more specifically, he lacks charisma, right?
Okay,
he's not boring.
Okay, I agree with that. No, I agree with that.
I would say in the wrestling world, in the wrestling milieu, if you lack charisma, you're boring. I mean, now this is going to be a couple of English majors yelling at each other about the words.
Here we go.
So we don't have to go down that road. But he does lack charisma.
I'm not going to sit here.
When I first started watching New Japan, you know why I liked him so much? He had that mohawk. He looked badass. Ever since he got rid of the mohawk, I don't like him anymore.
Okay, but I mean, he's never changed. He's always consistent.
Well, he got rid of the mohawk.
Oh, okay, well, then maybe that's on you for falling in love with him with the mohawk. See, you a fickle motherfucker. You Brian, you reason that Daniel Bryan's running around talking about fickle ass wrestling fans.
That's an old ass angle, man.
But it's apparently queer in the present now.
Come fresh.
Shut up. Whatever. Stop being fickle. Love the man for who he is. So now does not change though. Even then, he's been that quiet, stone cold killer. We just don't see that switch that turns on like a Bushi. When a Bushi switch turns on, you see it and it's like, oh shit, it's getting ready to go down.
I love him.
Sonata doesn't have that switch that we were looking for, especially in a match like this where the winner apparently challenges Ibushi moving forward.
Are you agreeing or disagreeing with me? Because it sounds like you're making my point.
I agree with you to a certain degree. I just can't buy the fact that he's boring.
All right, a couple other takeaways from. Oh, you know what? I said that 2 guys won 2 nights. I was wrong. 3 guys won 2 nights because Takahashi had himself a Wrestle Kingdom. Really had 2 bangers. El Phantasmo and him were extremely great with a lot of storytelling. Oh, before I forget this, I think my favorite part. I was watching Tenet with my buddy Fat, and I was laughing. I don't know if you've seen Tenet yet.
Is it good?
Yeah, it fucking rules. It doesn't make any sense, but it fucking rules.
That's all.
It makes no fucking sense.
Nope, that's why I keep hearing.
Zach, have you seen it?
I have not.
There's a part where Denzel's kid, the main guy in the movie, what's his name? John David Washington. He gets a fight in the kitchen, and he starts using a cheese grater, and he just fucks these dudes up with a cheese grater. And he's just using all this kitchen stuff, and I'm just like cackling, laughing.
So he's John Wick in these motherfuckers.
A little bit.
Christopher Nolan essentially just like made Under Siege 3.
Yeah, I mean, well, I want to see it again. It fucking rules. But anyway, I was just laughing, and my buddy Matt's like, dude, I've never seen somebody just watch fight scenes and just laugh like that. Like, what's wrong with you? I was like, dude, I do a wrestling podcast. When Jay White had Ibushi back and forth in between the ring and the guardrail, and he just goes, fuck you, and then he threw him over to the other side. He goes, fuck you, so and then he did like 6 times, and he said fuck you like 6 times. I was dying laughing.
I'm like, this shit is getting real.
Oh, I rewound it like 3 times. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I was like, did he say fuck you? I was like, oh yeah,
well,
yeah.
I mean, he's in Japan.
No,
It was so good. And actually, funnily, like Bill and I, we saw one of the John Wick movies in the theater together.
I know,
and
man.
It was
Why
almost
you
like
can't
being at the wrestling show? Like people were catcalling and just like
people were going nuts.
We had a great time.
Keep rubbing that shit in.
Second most fun I've ever had in a theater. First being when I went with Kevin Connors to see Jackass 2 at the Moolah, and we got wasted beforehand, and I'm sure that was like a party. Dude.
I'm sure that was a shit show.
Anyway, Hiromu Takahashi had a tremendous Wrestle Kingdom. I like the Ishimori match more, I think. El Phantasmo. Phantasmo. He's fucking awesome.
Great heel.
Yeah, he's a great heel. Both those matches were great. Any other thoughts on this before we go away from Wrestle Kingdom 15, which I have to say, I know Naito's your guy. I have to say it was better than last year's. Am I wrong?
Man, fuck you. Okay. No,
Zach, a thought on that? Which one do you think was better?
I don't know. Honestly, maybe it's recency bias, but off the top, I gotta say it was this one. Like these were two just fantastic shows.
Yeah, I think I would return to both of these shows.
I would want to watch last year's shows again. I don't want to fall into recency bias, but I would not sit up here and say that I was not still awake 30 minutes, 45 minutes after both shows. You know, adrenaline still going because both shows had me going. And that's, to me, that's the hallmark of a good pay-per-view. A good pay-per-view keeps me awake thinking about, okay, what's next? Okay, did I miss something? Let's rewind it and check this shit out. So in that scenario, it did its job. It was worth getting up at 2, 3 in the morning, whatever time it was, to watch it.
Yeah, and I don't know if this will be the last time I say it, but I want to say it again. If you don't watch New Japan, but you listen to the podcast, if you listen to the podcast, that means you like wrestling. If you like wrestling, that means, and you listen to the podcast, that means you like the type of wrestling that we watch, or at least you have somewhat a similar type of a type, I guess. You know, you have a type. You know, like I have a type. Like,
yeah, I got a type.
My wife, she's my type. You know what I mean?
Good call.
That's the only one in the entire world.
Good move.
Maybe Rachel McAdams in Wedding Crashers. Have you seen Wedding Crashers?
Which one is she?
But what I'm saying is, please go out of your way and try to watch New Japan. You will not be disappointed. We will try to guide you as much as you can through the beginning tunnels, trying to make your way up.
I want to start going back and watching like Bullet Club.
I think that would be fun when we get through our takeovers. I think that would be fun to go through. But I think that it's our job to try to let people know when something sweet is coming up to watch, such as the G1 or the New Japan Cup, Super J Cup, things like that.
I was going to say, if things stay the way they are starting to go again in New Japan, everything will go back to the way it was. So we'll get the G1 in the middle of the year or whatever, like we were supposed to get in 2020, and obviously we didn't. So this will be a good time to kind of, jump in. Dominion to be in the middle of the year. Then you will get the G1 after it or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, there's a time to do it. This is the time to jump in.
Zach, any last thoughts?
Yeah. Watching Wrestle Kingdom live is a better advertisement for stimulants than the Blitzkrieg of France.
Let's get to that. 2 counts.
1, 2, 3.
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
Oh, yeah, I'm on deck. Okay. So we had Wednesday Night Wars, as per usual. Both big shows. We had, the Everything is Evil. Is that right?
New Year's Evil.
New Year's Evil. Okay, yeah. See, too much Wrestle Kingdom. But we had New Year's Evil, and then we had New Year's Smash, which is a play on New Year's Dash. So really cool name for that. And both really good shows. I feel like it might have just been because like my NXT show is condensed, and I watch it on Hulu, so it's like a 1-hour version. AEW seemed like kind of the clear winner with their main event being so good, and also with their main event angle. So that's, I think, the biggest kind of news out of the evening, even though we had Snoop Dogg on the show. But the biggest news that everybody's buzzing about is the Good Brothers show up. So essentially Phoenix and Kenny Omega had arguably the best Dynamite singles match in Dynamite history, which is a short history, but it's also a short history full of really good matches. So I think, top matches that we've had singles, I think Phoenix has been in 2 of them, and Kenny Omega's been in 2 of them. And one of those is against each other, and then that Phoenix Nick Jackson match and the Kenny Omega Pac, right? Those are probably like the tops. But this match was awesome. Very scary, because these guys are just going to do what they're going to do. And Nobody's going to tell them any different. They're going to put everything on the line. But Omega goes over. No big surprise there. But the big surprise comes with the Good Brothers showing up and running roughshod and just clearing house. And then Young Bucks come out to kind of put a stop to it or whatever. And then essentially they form a faction, right? They all do the Too Sweet. It's like a Bullet Club reunion. They don't say Bullet Club. They don't say Too Sweet. In fact, I don't even know what the legalities of them doing the Too Sweet are, because I remember they had the whole cease and desist thing. So,
well, they also said, I mean, they kept saying they're getting the band back together.
Yes.
But isn't that also what the Clique used to say?
The Clique, WWF/E, they did it in WCW. Apparently they did it in TNA. Somebody tweeted me that. So, I mean, I guess they're
a lot of precedent.
Yeah, and I don't even give a shit what the name is, to be perfectly honest. I don't care, okay? My mouth was literally dropped by the end of the fucking show. I'm like, God damn.
Mine was too. Go ahead, Zach.
No, yeah, but that's the big takeaway. So, I mean, you guys can give your thoughts about that before that. I mean, that was the biggest thing that happened all night last night.
Go ahead, Billy.
So I watched everything last night, and I knew that Omega Phoenix was tonight, but I also knew that NXT was kind of a takeover style card.
Kind of, yeah.
So I pretty much stayed away from AEW last night, and I stayed completely away from the main event. So that's my story. And then I started flipping between the Pelicans game and NXT. And, well, Monday night I just turned on the Pelicans game. We'll get to Raw later. But, so I had no idea what happened. And I watched Omega Phoenix at 3 o'clock this afternoon, right before Jason walked in the door. And I was into the match, and I was watching it. And then I saw Moxley come in. And now, granted, I'm working while I'm watching it. I apparently have to go back and watch it again because it's hard to really get it while you're working. But if Zach says it's one of the greatest Dynamite matches of all time, then I probably have to go back and watch it. Obviously,
it was
I'm
really
watching
good.
Omega Phoenix, and they're spectacular.
It was really good.
Moxley comes in. Oh, well, first they show Pac and Penta being beat up by Kingston and his guys. Then Moxley comes in and starts fucking them up. And then the Good Brothers come in, and I didn't see that coming at all. Maybe I should have seen it coming.
Probably.
I guess
we all should have seen it coming.
It makes sense, but that's the best kind of wrestling. The best kind of wrestling is not when you should have seen it, or is not when you didn't see it coming at all. It's when you should have seen it coming and never did.
Right.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff that happened yesterday that we should have seen coming.
Man, you ain't shit.
Did you see?
You ain't shit.
You know that I think you should leave skit. Did you see that on Facebook, Zach? Where I put that I think you should leave with Tim Anderson. I
did not.
And he's wearing the. Do you ever watch I Think You Should Leave on Netflix?
No.
Oh, it would kill you. It's the funniest fucking thing of all time. Anyway, I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. And then I was like, oh, well, this is the angle. And then the Bucks come out, the Jacksons, I forget their names. I think it's like Ryan and Matt or something.
God damn it.
And so they come out.
Thank you.
And you think they're going to be baby faces. They flip heel.
Like a motherfucker.
They flip heel. So they get the band back together, which is the Bullet Club or the Clique or whatever.
Elite or whatever you want to call
whatever
it.
you want to fucking call it. They put them back together. The cross-promotional stuff made me think for a split second that they work us the whole time about the Good Brothers not coming into AEW, and there's no way that that's true. There's no way this was a year out. There's no way they've been planning it for a year. What do you think, Jason? Not that exactly, but about the angle.
The angle is amazing. I mean, but this is what I was in a dream scenario. This is my dream, where now you can have a queer working relationship, at least between AEW and Impact. So now talent can move back and forth. You can have dream matches. so on and so forth. Nobody's taking down WWE. Let's just get that off the table. When they make $43 million in a whatever you want to call it, a little period, 3-month period, it's just not going to happen. All you can do is just have a better product. Now, making this alignment together, you have a better product, and you have the specter of New Japan swinging over the head because Moxley and Kenta have to have their match at some point somewhere down the line. It's too fucking amazing that this is finally happening in 2021, where other promotions are starting to fucking figure it out. Okay, you're not going to take down WWE by themselves. You're not going to take them down, period. But you can really fucking make them work.
Yeah, you can fuck them up for sure.
And now this is going to put pressure. And don't get me wrong, the NXT show was good as well. I just have more confidence in AEW moving forward.
It ain't NXT's fault.
It's not. It's really not. It's too much of
we always say it's not the talent's fault. It's really not NXT's fault.
It's great organizations work from the top down. If the top is good / great, it's usually supposed to filter down. In this scenario, sorry, not sorry, Vince is kind of sketchy and really doesn't give two shits about NXT in my opinion. So what happens in NXT is not necessarily a priority to him.
But why would he care? He's making so much money, right, Zach?
I mean, Vince, like, it's an ego thing for him. Like, he doesn't want any competition. Like, he wants to snuff him out. That's right. NXT's on Wednesday. They were supposed to bury AEW, and then AEW got an even more lucrative deal just a few months in. And they beat them pretty much every week.
Honestly, Vince's ego is so big that I'm surprised he hasn't sent down guys like Cesaro to NXT. Let's see Cesaro versus Kyle O'Reilly. Let's see Cesaro versus Adam Cole. I know I'm
surprised they don't do that more too. You know, like
I always bring up Cesaro, but Cesaro to me is the most underutilized guy that really has not even gotten a chance. Hasn't even gotten a sniff at the title.
Nope.
And Cesaro is such a fucking badass, dude.
I was thinking about Cesaro the other day when I was at work, and I think the biggest, like the fork in the road for Cesaro is when they paired him with Heyman, and I was like, oh shit, this shit's going to work. This is going to really take Cesaro to the next level. And I couldn't remember what happened to why they dropped the ball on that angle, but it didn't work. And then that was like the one chance I thought they really had with Cesaro, because he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. He came out on Monday night, and he was with Dutch Mantel at the time. I can't remember his name. And he was like, you know, I'm not hanging with you anymore. I'm a Paul Heyman guy now. Paul Heyman comes out. Z in it. Zeb Coulter.
Zeb Coulter, yes.
Okay, so Heyman comes out. The crowd goes ape shit. I'm like, oh, fucking A right. You know, this is Cesaro's chance. This is Cesaro's push. You know, this is going to be great. And then for whatever reason, I can't remember why it didn't work. And then from that point on, it's been all downhill since.
Yeah, you would think being in a tag team with Shinsuke Nakamura would make them the biggest motherfucking thing on the fucking planet.
Don't even get me started about that.
On a New Japan, look, I might sound like a broken record. You guys can fast forward 15 seconds if you want to, but on an NJPW card against Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr., if you're talking Nakamura and Cesaro, now we're talking, man.
Let him go. Yeah.
Now we're talking.
I was gonna say, let this shit happen. I was saying, please let that shit happen. That's why I'll say this, and we can get back to the topic at hand. This is
the topic at hand.
This is why
it's our podcast.
True story. This is why I say Jay White wouldn't be anything more than the next Shinsuke Nakamura in WWE.
Of course not.
He would be the foreign heel chasing the U.S.
Look at Matt
title.
Riddle. He's a joke now. He's a comedy act.
Yeah.
Okay, Zach, go ahead.
So other stuff on AEW that was interesting. Looks like Chuck Taylor is going to be a young boy. He loses to Miro.
We already going to chalk that up?
That's an interesting angle.
We already just going to chalk that up?
Like,
Chucky T ain't got a chance?
No way. he shouldn't have agreed to the stip.
Wow.
Like, not saying he's like a pushover or anything, but I mean, like, Miro's like presented as very dominant, and I mean, obviously Chuck's confident, and I like their little interaction and stuff. It was pretty fun.
But Zach,
I think
let me ask you this as a married man, because I'm also married.
I was going to say, what the fuck?
Well, I'm quieting down a little bit because I know she's upstairs. When Chuck says to Miro, he goes, "Listen, I'll say yes to anything right now, just to be none talking about it." Have you ever related to a wrestler more?
never more.
You ain't shit. One of you motherfuckers ain't shit.
Oh man, I felt it so hard when he was like,
great.
"Listen, I'll say yes. Let's just make this stop. Can we just make it stop?"
Just make the pain end.
That's great. Don't sleep on Chucky T. That's all I'm gonna say. I agree, Miro's gonna win, but don't sleep on Chucky T.
I definitely wouldn't. But,
I think it's a great angle for both of them.
Yeah, it gives them all something to do, which is in this, especially with Chucky T. He needs something to do without Trent being there for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's a definite end. It's only until the wedding, right? So, yeah, we had the opening match, really good. Young Bucks and SCU making a nice 8-man against Acclaim and H2O or THC3. I forget their
Jesus
name,
Christ!
But what is it? What is it? TH2?
Thank
the
you.
Hybrid 2?
The Hybrid 2.
All right, cool. Yeah, that was fun. And then, of course, the Snoop Dogg bit where he came out and Cody has a new theme, a new Snoop Dogg theme. And it was really all about getting over their Go Big show, which, since I get that it's called the Go Big show,
I forgot
but I
about
think
Snoop.
of the big show,
Yes.
every time they say that. So that's kind of a thing. But yeah, I mean, the big moment was whenever Snoop jumps off the top rope.
Jesus Christ!
Like Jimmy Snuka at Madison Square Garden, man.
No. Okay.
It looked great.
No. Let's not sit up here in front. But if you saw it, you saw it.
Well, here's the thing.
He got up there, was like,
All right. So
oh shit.
I don't mind AEW. Oh god, that poor bastard. He's old too, man. He's older than fuck. Like, that's a really old man. Like, I know that black don't crack and everything, but that's an old man standing up there.
Yeah, as I was saying,
getting ready to do a splash.
Oh, now you don't want to go ahead and jump now, huh?
And he looked at those guys and he said, "Move them closer."
Yeah.
And Jericho said, this is the funniest thing Jericho said all night. He goes, "He's 8 foot tall. You ain't got to move him closer." All right,
he's a human spaghetti noodle.
Yeah.
I will be critical.
What?
And I often don't find too much to be critical of AEW about, but we gotta do, if you're gonna have Sting on the show every week, it can't be the same bit. Like, give me something, right? Let me know what's going on. I get the implication that he's paired up with Darby, but every week the heels are there, ready to do a beatdown. The lights go out.
But they haven't really explained his relationship to Darby, right? Just that they
No,
both.
It's just a bunch of implications. Like, there's no explication. And I know it's like show don't tell, absolutely, but they're showing me, but they're also not telling us anything. So
Right.
I just feel like it's getting tired. And that's one thing you don't want, is for an angle like that and the star power of Sting, for it to get tired. And even as a big Sting mark, it's getting tired.
You don't want the angle of Sting. You don't want the Sting character to get tired.
You ain't shit. He just came back, man. Damn.
I'm dunking on Zach. Sorry.
Shaking my head over here.
You should be. Now say, don't get in the picture next time. Just let him dunk on you. Don't even try to block it. Sting just got back, dude. I mean, damn. I get your point. Great joke, by the way. My only problem with the Sting thing is Team Taz is 5 of them. It's 5 of you motherfuckers. I mean, damn. I get
Sting
Will
used to
Hobbs.
beat off like 20 guys in the NWO, and I realized that it said he used to beat them
Yeah, I
off.
bet he did used to beat off 22 dudes.
This
he
one's
used
going
to kill
left.
like 20 dudes at a time, and I know that was like literally 25 years ago, but still.
Literally 25 years ago. Just have him be a manager. Just don't have him be scary. Take his makeup off. What are they doing?
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
What are they doing?
At some point, they're just going to have the team task is just going to have to fucking sack up and just go attack these motherfuckers. You got a 2-man advantage. I mean, goddamn.
I'll admit to Beer, I was going to skip past the Sting part this week. I was not even going to make fun of you. Or not make fun of you. Make this 40 and slip. I wanted to talk about SCU coming out and saying that once they lose, they're going to break up. Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, they said that the next time they lose, they're going to break up. So, is this leading to a in-ring Christopher Daniels retirement, a heel turn for Daniels, a heel turn for Kazarian, or a heel turn for both?
Jesus.
I love that angle, by the way. That is something that I can't remember ever happening, which is a tag team saying next time we lose, we break up. A tag team that's been together as long as those guys have. Those guys were on TNA Impact, 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
Probably longer than that.
Yeah, I mean, Christopher Daniels is 50, so I think it's cool. I think it's like a really cool way for him to ride off into that great night, right? Like, it's a cool angle. They can give him one good more run. He's got gas in the tank. You know, for this, you know, if they want to do a singles match or whatever later on, that's fine too. But like, they can have him go on a win streak, maybe even have him win the belts again,
Yeah,
right? And,
I think it'd be cool if they won the belts.
And then they retire whenever
they'll win the belts.
lose.
Well, I shouldn't say that. They'll challenge for the titles. I think that's where, to answer your question, I almost see Kaz as the one that would go heel just for, like Two Beer said, that
Makes more sense.
Daniels feels like he's on the back end where Kaz, I mean, don't get me wrong, Kaz is not a spring chicken by any stretch of the imagination either, but I feel like he's got years left where Christopher Daniels feels like he's got maybe a year left. I would feel like that first 6 months of the year should be the SCU story of them going on this win streak, challenging the Bucks, maybe winning it. I don't see that happening, especially now. I mean, the Bucks, anything related to the Bucks, Kenny Omega, the Good Brothers, it's all going to be a scenario where they're going to be kept as strong as possible for as long as possible.
They have booked the opposite of booked themselves into a corner.
It's so
with,
much shit.
with AEW.
Yeah, it
like
is
there's
so much shit.
Anything
that
could happen.
Now, that
They have really booked it like so well that AEW, a little bit more than a year, 14 months, 15 months after they debuted, anything could happen, and I want to watch every single week, and I think that's a tremendous angle.
Now that you've introduced the Good Brothers, you basically set it up to where anybody from either show can pop up on Impact on Tuesdays or now on Dynamite on Wednesdays, damn near making this must-see TV.
And you know what? Like, when Jason comes over, and in the old days when Zach used to come over, I put on something on the TV, just something on WWE Network, just in the background. We're watching the Royal Rumble from 2010, and it is 2011, and it is Edge, Ziggler, Miz, Orton are in the first two matches, man. It's just like fucking WrestleMania. Like, there's nothing. They're still fighting the same guys over and over and over again.
Dude, I'm gonna wait. I'm not going to shit on WWE.
No, you're right. It's not time to shit on WWE.
I'll wait.
That's a good segue. We can transition to the New Year's Evil show.
Well, the other thing that I was going to say, besides, we never really got into Snoop's terrible splash, but were you going to segue into NXT or into more AEW stuff?
Into NXT.
A couple things. MJF going to Hager after Hager lost to Wardlow and kind of offering an olive branch. No, in light of what happened later on in the show with another faction getting back together, is that the seeds that was planted prior to have Inner Circle go babyface? Because
I feel like MJF has been kind of doing that bit where he is gaining the trust of like each person, like, you know, a new member like each week outside of like Sammy. It's also kind of unique because AEW doesn't do stuff away from the ring that often, right? Unless it's like a pre-recorded segment or something like that, you know, like the Las Vegas stuff or the
Right.
Debonair. They're very much like focused on the ring action. So to see like a backstage locker room thing, that was like kind of like off-putting, but it worked. Like it got the thing done that it needed to get done. But yeah, I mean, I could totally see that. I mean, people like to cheer Jericho regardless, and all those guys are super charismatic. But yeah, I don't know. Like we talk about, you know, MJF taking over the Inner Circle and then Jericho becomes a face, but it could very well be that the Inner Circle just all become faces and MJF's still just an asshole. Like, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, MJF flipping face does seem a little outside of the realm of possibility. What do you think, Jason?
You know what I think? I'm sitting here just watching this unfold. I'm sorry, it sounded like I was watching CNN from last night. I'm watching this unfold and sitting there thinking to myself, yeah, this is the golden prediction happened to, you know, be informed in front of my eyes. You guys said it. The Hager spot, even though it's not really anything to trip off of in the grand scheme of the whole episode, it's the little things. Like you said, here's the seed. You know, I'm winning, you know, Santana Ortiz over. Now here comes Jake Hager. You know, I already got Wardlow in pocket. Slowly but surely, everybody's starting to like the new guy. And then the new guy takes over, kicks out Jericho, and I got the Inner Circle. Now you can have the Inner Circle or whatever you want to call them after MJF takes over versus the Elite / Bullet Club. Okay, I can go with that.
Let me ask you this, and this will be the last thing we say on AEW, and then we can move on to NXT. We'll go from Jason to Zach. What do you think about Jericho being included in a 4-man booth, basically, you know, using a baseball term or a football term? What do you think about Jericho being a part of that announce team every week?
I think it's 4. It can't. I don't necessarily like the 4-man. It's 3 seems like the magic number, especially if you're going to have an AEW spot. You got to have JR until JR decides he's done. Excalibur does the heavy lifting. Tony is there. He's basically your swing man. He can go in, do interviews, you know, announce Sting and all that other good shit, do the silly things that they want to do, like the weigh-ins, or then he can come back and do commentary as well. 4 just seems like it's a little much. It kind of got clunky there for a little bit.
What do you think about Jericho?
I think Jericho ultimately is going to be a commentator. It's just going to take a little bit, but I think Jericho to me is just as funny as anybody. He's as entertaining as there is in AEW. Eventually, when he's done in ring, he'll go up to the booth.
Zach, what do you think?
I think he's much better in doses. I don't like it every week. I think, you know, he does a pretty good job. I mean, he does a really good job, right? But I think he's very extra because he is who he is, and I don't think that's required every week. And he does a really good job with like talking about logic and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I mean, it's almost like it's almost too much. Go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead. I'm just getting.
I was just saying,
I'm getting eager.
I'm not gonna say that he doesn't do a good job of like putting like talent over, because he does, but he's also very much about putting himself over, and he talks a lot.
He talks a lot. You know, friend of the show, Vice, texted me last night. He goes, Jericho's going to be great on commentary when he's done wrestling. I agree, in a 2-man booth. you know who he reminds me of the most is Jerry Lawler. Because when somebody climbs up, he goes, he's climbing up! Like, he does that shit all the time. And he thinks that he's the play-by-play guy and the color guy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to talk, and I guess I agree with a little bit of what both of you said. It's like, it's so much all the time. And Excalibur and Shivani and JR are so much better at what they do than he is at what they do.
Right.
That he's supposed to be just an addition, and he talks more than any of those guys.
It does feel like they almost defer to him to a certain degree. I watched the episode on,
and that might be like a directive from up on high.
It may be. I was going to say they haven't been around long enough for us to get a pattern, quote unquote, on their the way they do things. But I'll just say this: Jericho will eventually be there. I think he's extra, like Two Beers said, right now because it's just who he is. Eventually, when he does this full time and he gets into a mode, a lot of this is just him just being eager and he's making, simple mistakes. That takes time. When you do it week after week after week, he'll be fine. And a lot of the extra, I think, will go away with that as well once he does this full time.
All right.
This is banned from ringside.
Tell us about NXT, Zach.
Yeah, we had the New Year's Evil. Started out with Dexter Lumis not saying anything, pressing some buttons. Cool.
Yeah.
And
I
then
just don't like that dude, man. I'm sorry.
I'm sure he's a fine person.
No,
but,
I'm sure he is. Just
the gimmick is death. But yeah, the first match that I saw was Damian Priest carrying Cross.
Mhm.
That was fine. I think carrying Cross is like he was pre-injury. This thing didn't come off like super great to me. But yeah, I mean, he went over Damian Priest, who apparently was supposed to go to SmackDown and wrestle with Kevin Owens and be Kevin Owens' tag team partner against Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, but that got shot down. So he still might go up to the main roster pretty soon. But yeah, so that match was fine. I was really looking forward to Ciampa and Thatcher, but Thatcher is hurt, so that one got nixed. There were some matches that I did not see that I was looking forward to. I was really looking forward to El Fantasma and Elio Del Fantasma and Grand Metalik, which was not on the Hulu version. But those guys, because they were essentially like top of like opposite promotions, like Phantasma with AAA and Metalik with CMLL, they were like both top guys that never really got a chance to wrestle each other in Mexico. So I really wanted to see them wrestle here, but then yeah, Hulu screwed me. So I don't know how it was.
It was good, actually. I don't know if this was Grand Metalik's first time even wrestling for the title. My gut tells me yes, but nonetheless, I thought it was a really good match. It was like you would think it was. Grand Metalik worked the ropes, top to bottom, in and outside the ring.
They let them wrestle their style.
Yeah, it was basically a Lucha Libre match for about 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So I might have to seek that out. But we had the last woman standing match with Raquel and Rhea, which was really good. I really liked the bit where Dakota Kai came and smacked her with the kendo stick, and then Rhea just stuffed her in a locker. That was really funny.
That was kind of fucked up.
But, yeah, they.
That might be movie magic. I can't believe she fit in that thing.
She's a tiny person, I feel
maybe
like.
it goes down where you stuffed her in and there's maybe room underneath. I don't know. Maybe it is movie magic.
Everything you just said sounded really sexual.
say I haven't thought so much about what Dakota Kai could fit in as much as I thought about what
You hate shit. I got to do that. This was where we were going south on this one a little bit.
We're going to get canceled.
Yeah, right. Wait, we run this shit.
But it was a really good match, and honestly, I forget who even won.
Oh, come on, man!
Rhea did not win. She did not win. So I think Rhea would. I mean, is she going to the main roster? Like, is it finally time?
I said it last night. I don't see that there's anything left for her to do. Winning this Dusty Rhodes Women Classic tournament is not even for her at this point. It's time. She's lost to Rio. She lost to Io. She lost to Raquel Gonzalez. That was to get Raquel Gonzalez over. It's time for her to move up.
I think I know what's going to happen.
See her at Royal Rumble. Her and Charlotte be one of the last four in.
I think that her and Charlotte fight again at WrestleMania, and Ripley goes over this time.
They're going to run it back.
I think that.
Hopefully.
I think that would be a good booking decision.
And then Triple H will be like, see, it was totally a match.
Yeah, it was the story.
Yeah,
we did it. It's a story.
You guys didn't have any patience.
Book
You guys didn't have any patience.
Yeah, you can see us starting to get wound up for the
I'm already getting mad at WrestleMania. It's fucking January.
7th,
right?
We're getting mad at WrestleMania.
Okay, everybody's over chomping at the bit. No, I'll say this. I want to jump back to the Damian Priest Karrion Kross match. I thought it was a good match, just in the simple fact that
I was pissing. Did he not like it?
He said it was okay. I'll say this.
I liked it a lot.
I'll say this. The two reasons I liked it is, number one, it's more so about Damian Priest and has very little to do with anything to do with Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross is going to go. They already announced their next takeover is Valentine's Day. That's probably going to be crossing Balor for the title. So if it's not, he's on the way. It has to be. He's on the way to that. So I'm letting. This is one of those matches that it was a predictable finish, but just how we get there. To me, it makes Damian Priest, back up the tough talk he had coming up to this match, and then, the finish where he was just basically calling him out, made him, called him a bitch or whatever, and made Karrion Kross, lay his ass out to get the pin. Even though he loses, he looks strong, babyface strong, like you're supposed to be moving forward if he's going to be a babyface. So for me, I thought the match was good. I thought the psychology of the match was just as good. It was a good way to kick off their part of the show if you were one of the people that was sitting at home watching it live and you had to make the choice right away of which match you wanted to watch. If you don't watch both at the same time, which to me is absolutely crazy. I cannot even imagine watching both shows at the same time. That's just, no, I got to absorb this shit.
I don't have to see every headbutt.
I need to see that shit, man. I got to see that shit.
I mean, I was one of those people, and I watched Karrion Kross versus Damian Priest because Damian Priest is a guy that's earned a lot of my respect very quickly. He's been really good. He was clearly elevated by Leon Ruff. He is. I think he's a really good babyface, and I like Karrion Kross a ton, man. And Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor. Karrion Kross, not every wrestling match, for people that don't like Karrion Kross, not every wrestling match has to be top rope stuff, has to be fucking what's the word I'm looking for? Sometimes stuff just has to look like it hurts.
Doesn't have to be high spots, yeah. No, I'm with you there.
No, Karrion Kross.
I don't know if he's rusty or if he's just not as, maybe he's injury plagued. Like he's not 100%. Kross.
Oh yeah.
He didn't come off as dominant as he usually had.
I don't think but I think that was by design. I think this was more to keep. If Damian Priest's time is limited on NXT, which I started that same rumor that he was supposed to go to SmackDown or whatever, you still got to make him look strong.
Jason's getting all Triple H on this. He's telling us by design. Oh, yeah, it's by design. It's by design. Oh, thanks, Jason.
This one is by design. The real Ripley thing is not by design. They fucked that shit up. They screwed the pooch on it, and they know it. Holy shit.
I know. That was a young Husky Harris. All right. What else happened, Zach?
Main event time, we had, well, I think there was some other stuff, but like I said, this is all that I saw. Was the next for me was the main event.
I mean, the only thing that you missed was the mixed tag with
impromptu match. Yeah,
it was Gargano and LeRae versus Kushida, who they really have no idea what to do with, and Shotzi Blackheart.
It looks like they're going.
Oh well, if they're, as I say, if that. Yeah, with that mixed tag, it looks like there'll be Kushida and Johnny, which sounds awesome.
Yes, it does sound awesome.
Yeah,
I hope he goes over.
No, I was going to say that's Kushida got the pin on Gargano, so that should be the easy segue to it. Now, does Kushida go over? I don't know. I would love to see it.
That could be one of the greatest takeover matches.
Yeah, I was going to say I think that would be a takeover match, and that should be really good because I mean it's Johnny Takeover versus Kushida. If you let Kushida be Kushida, it should be good.
All right, Zach, main event.
Main event, Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor. Not as good as their takeover match, but that's not like being critical of it. It was still a really good match. That match was just transcendently good, just very superior. But this one told a really cool story. Essentially, they gave each other the injuries that they had given in the previous match. So there was an abdominal stretch spot, which I really like. I like when, for some reason, just like those kind of old school spots in these kind of new wave matches. But yeah, that was cool. And then Kyle O'Reilly broke it by biting the rope to get the rope break, and then Finn kicked the rope. So essentially, Kyle O'Reilly sold like he had fractured his jaw. The doctor checked up on him, and it was really cool. Like, they worked fantastically, and eventually, Finn just overcomes O'Reilly and, kind of remains that dominant NXT champion. But Kyle O'Reilly lost nothing in this, and even in 2 losses, I feel like he's just gained. Like, he is the number 2 guy in Undisputed Era, like right underneath Adam Cole. Like, he's right underneath Adam Cole right now.
I would say even in tapping out, he didn't lose anything. He looked like $1 million fucking bucks. It was another great match. I wouldn't even say that the takeover match was. I forget the term that you used. Maybe heads and shoulders but I think you said transcendent. That's what you said. I wouldn't even say that this match was that much below that match. I just think these guys are incredible workers together.
No, I agree. It was another banger-ass match. The tap out was a little unexpected, but, I mean, it didn't really take away from my overall thought on the match, which, like I said, it was really, really good. The way they switched injuries, like Two Beers said, was a little intriguing to see how that was going to play itself out. I guess, where does UE go from here? I mean, that was the thought for me coming away from, the NXT show when I watched it this morning. But I'll just say it. Comparing the 2 shows, the 2 shows were both really fucking good, and they were good in their own ways. But like I'm gonna keep hammering home ad nauseum. It's so many fucking options with the AEW show, where you got this many options where you can do so many different things. I thought it was the better show.
Even at the top of the card, I mean, you're talking about Pac, Moxley, Omega, Phoenix. I mean, there are so many different ways that you can go. There's so many guys that are at the top of the card that are believable. Like, I know that me and Joey got worked, but I mean, we were here not that long ago believing that Eddie Kingston could do it, and Eddie Kingston's that much of a talent.
Yeah.
It's just that, I mean, it's the most well-booked. I don't want to say this. This might be recency biased. It's AEW is the most well-booked promotion on television that I've ever seen. I mean,
Yeah,
but what else is there? I mean, it's WWE. It's more well booked than anything WWE's ever done.
I'm not okay. Look, I know we getting ready to shit on WWE, but WWE has had some good.
Oh,
angles.
I'm getting ready to shit on WWE.
Let's not sit up here and be.
Yeah,
like
Stone
that.
Cold. Yes, Stone Cold Vince. They've been living off Stone Cold Vince for so fucking long, man. Yes, it was brilliant in 1998. It was very brilliant in 1998. I agree. That's it.
No, I'm not going to be like that. It's not going to be okay. I'll just say this. Even past Stone Cold Vince, you still had Rock and Austin. They had their moments. Okay.
Yeah, you had Angle. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, even as bad as WWE is perceived to be in this circle, they still have their nuggets of moments. Now,
oh my! How the tables have turned. Jason's
no,
defending the fuck out of WWE.
Shut up! No, I'm not. I'm just saying the difference is nuggets are cool. Consistency is better. AEW is being more consistent after week after week after week to where even a bad, and I'll say bad show for AEW is still good. When we say a bad show for Raw, it's like a train wreck where it's like, damn, how did I sit here and watch this shit for 3 fucking hours? Okay.
And top to bottom too, because like a lot of people like to glorify Attitude Era, you know, and I mean, I was there watching every single week religiously, and yeah, the highs were high, but the lows were low. I mean, there was some terrible stuff on those shows that if you go back and watch, a lot of it sucked.
No, but that's, I guess that's where the problem is, where people say that's their greatest era. That's the difference. It's a sports entertainment factory over there. Current Stallion, friend of the show, he said it.
Hold on. Repeat that. You went mute for a second.
Kurt Stallion, friend of the show, he said it. WWE is like a circus, okay? But the problem is they don't have, or they don't want to have, a lead attraction anymore. It's about just coming to pay the ticket to see the circus as a whole versus having a headliner like you used to have 20 years ago. To me, that's the biggest difference.
The brand is the draw.
Right.
The stars are not the draw.
Exactly.
Like, they're not making a star to be the draw.
No, because they don't want. The last time they had that happen, they had Austin go home, which sabotaged the show, and then Rock left, which basically left them a hole. From that point on, nobody has ever really been that superstar. You can argue Cena if you want to.
You can, but
I'm not going to even say that. John Cena was that guy, but he was never those guys.
They've had opportunities to make that guy again.
Yeah, but they won't do it.
They won't do it. Sasha Banks could be that guy.
Apparently great in The Mandalorian, the episode she's been in. I haven't watched it yet.
I'm sure it's fine.
Nonetheless,
it was really good.
Okay, but nonetheless, opportunity to make big megastars, and you cry about, oh, the fans, we can't get casual fans back, we don't get new fans. Well, you got opportunities to do it and you choose not to, you only can blame yourself.
I always say this, we've always said this, even in this conversation about Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly that has gone to AEW and back as far as 97 with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. All roads lead to Roman, because if they would have booked Roman Reigns back right after the disintegration of the Shield, the way they're booking him right now, and then they turned him babyface, he would be The Rock right now. He would be in the Transporter 4. He would be making movies if they would have done it, because he's that good looking, he's that charismatic, he's got that much charisma just in standing there and looking, but they had to make him a heel first, and they fucked that up. And you know what? It's costing Roman Reigns Millions of dollars.
Whatever. He's
millions of dollars.
I'm sure Roman Reigns is more than okay. I don't feel sorry for him in the monetary
Anyway, Finn
issue.
Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly was fucking great.
It was a banger match. I agree with everybody that said it. It wasn't as good as the TakeOver match, and that's not a knock against this match. This match was still very, very good. And like I said, to me, it's just now, where do you go with UE from here?
Any last thoughts on NXT, Zach?
Not at all. I'm just happy that I only saw Dexter Lumis once.
Oh, yeah. Just
Dexter Lumis. I mean, them putting him behind, and listen, I like the guy as a wrestler. Them putting him behind the broadcast booth just to make the joke that he doesn't talk. Guys, that's not funny. That's like a fucking 11:45 p.m. Saturday Night Live skit. That's not fucking funny.
I mean, that's the main
It's
roster.
funny whenever AEW did it with Orange Cassidy, but Orange Cassidy pretended to fall asleep, and that was fun.
That's going to do it for our...
Go ahead.
You got something else to say?
I'll ask the quick question. Is that hypocritical?
Who? What Zach just said?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
Okay, that's going to do it for
That's what they should.
What'd you say, Zach?
Oh, I just said they're different characters. Like, I was just going to defend myself. But it's
No, defend yourself. Defend yourself,
Man,
please.
see, this is what happens, Zach, when you're not, and I know COVID is doing it, so you can't be here, and it's easier for you not to be here. But when you're not here, you're just... Well, no, that's not true because you guys pick on me all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Fuck this. Let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Bill and his feelings.
I mean, I am in my feelings. All right, you guys ready to let loose?
Yeah, man, let's do this shit.
All right. So, Monday night was Raw Legends Night, right? So they opened up with Hogan.
The H-phone.
Who has a new... I guess iPhone or something.
It's the H-phone.
Well, whatever. So here's a list of the legends that we saw on Monday night. Teddy Long.
I'm sorry, that was funny. When he said the Undertaker spot, that shit was funny.
Ric Flair, who came out, got flirted with by Lacey Evans, tripped his daughter so that she would get pinned by Peyton Royce, and then his daughter turned against him so that he looked sympathetic. So I'm not sure who they're trying to make look like a heel there unless they're trying to make everybody look like a heel. Asuka and Charlotte Flair lose. Then you have a moment backstage with Jimmy Hart, Hulk Hogan, McIntyre, and Sheamus. I guess they couldn't get somebody of color to do that "what you gonna do, brother" thing with Hogan. That's weird. I don't know. Who knows? Riddle beats Lashley. You have Mark Henry, who's scared of Randy Orton backstage. Also, I missed the Big Show. You have Dana Brooke goes over Shayna Baszler in 40 seconds. You have Ric Flair with IRS and Molly Holly, and Randy Orton comes back. I would have really liked if IRS would have yelled at Randy Orton for setting his son on fire, but he didn't. You had RKO go over Hardy. You had Hurt Business versus Lucha House Party, which Graham Metalik got pinned before his big match with Santos Escobar, which makes total booking sense. And then here we go, guys. Then we had McIntyre versus Keith Lee in a very good 22-minute match.
It's a good match.
WWE style match, but nonetheless, it was a good match. And then Goldberg comes out and says that Drew McIntyre has everything except for respect, and then he challenged McIntyre.
The look on his face is great.
Challenged McIntyre to the belt at Royal Rumble. So I ask you guys. I'll ask Zach first.
Please go ahead.
I'll ask Zach. Zach, who does Goldberg appeal to?
He appeals to white men over 50.
Question mark?
I don't know.
I mean, what are they doing?
I popped real hard whenever he squashed Brock Lesnar, and like they did like every WCW Nitro match you've ever seen Goldberg in, but he did it to Lesnar. But that worked one time.
It worked one time, and it was the most surprising thing that we've seen in a long time. It was like, yes, of course, you should pop for that. Were we doing the podcast that time?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
but
it was awesome.
It's just so unsurprising and stale. Like, I'm not even like that mad at it. I can't even like build up the energy to be like that mad because it's so just rote and expected.
Oh,
like,
I'm just furious.
Well, good. I got anger for both of us. Man, look. You out your goddamn mind. There is no reason in the world to even be doing this. The logic doesn't even make fucking sense. You got Randy Orton basically running around clowning on every fucking legend that he comes across. Nobody wants to do anything to Randy Orton. Legends don't want to do anything. Okay, that's fine. Big Show probably could have, had a little bit of a problem with it, but Big Show let it slide. So then at the end, you're going to have Goldberg come out. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, God, no. Either way, either he wins the Royal Rumble, which would be bad, or now he has this match, which is bad, too. So that's what I'm thinking in my head. So then he comes out and says, oh, you don't have respect. You run down the legends, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wait a minute. Wasn't this other motherfucker just talking all kinds of cash money shit to any motherfucker that came across his path, and you ain't said nothing to him? But now you're going to say something to this other dude that said, what you going to do, brother, with the guy that I can't stand? But that's disrespectful. Man, the whole logic didn't even make sense. So now you're going to have this little match, and then, of course, they have the scrum that goes off the air. Man, look, if you're going to do some stupid-ass angle, at least, A, have the fucking time to do it and do it right, and then, B, make it fucking make goddamn sense. For once in my life, stop fucking making me look like an idiot. Stop making me feel like an idiot for dragging my ass through this 3-hour bullshit episode after watching 4 hours before of some of the best fucking wrestling I've seen this year. 2021 just started, but damn, that 4 hours of New Japan was great versus this 3 hours of absolute hot garbage. Goldberg appeals to those that want to reminisce in the past. Oh, Goldberg's transcended. He's going to get Drew over. If Drew wins, it's what he's supposed to do. If Drew loses, it's like, what the fuck did we do all this shit up to this point for? Just to have Drew lose again. And don't get it twisted, that is in play. When Goldberg is around, titles get lost.
Couple things here. Goldberg appeals to people that still get in their cars and listen to Alice in Chains. That's one. The second one being, you know why Goldberg's never taken an RKO? Because the dude can't bump. Because he fucking sucks. I don't know why Goldberg used to be around. I do not understand why Vince has got this hard-on for Goldberg in 2021.
He's under contract, so that's half the battle.
So he's got to use him? Fuck that. He
doesn't have to use him.
That's why rich people tip like shit. That's why they became rich. Fuck him. Fuck Vince. Fuck Goldberg.
He doesn't have to use him, but look at what's happening. We're talking about it. That's what he wants, and we're falling for that trap.
Yeah, but you know what else? What he doesn't want is for us three to barely sleep through Raw, to skip SmackDown altogether, which is what we do, which is what I do every fucking week.
Raw is now at the point where if Goldberg wins, I'll say this: if Goldberg wins the world title at Royal Rumble, I'm not watching Raw from that point on.
You know what I did Monday night? I'd literally, and I host a podcast. I don't know if you knew this.
No, I didn't know that.
I watched Miz and Morrison open the show. I watched Miz basically do the host thing that he used to do a long time ago. I watched the New Day come out. I watched Teddy Long come out and do his thing. I watched Angel Garza win the 24/7 belt.
Dude, that's the kiss of death for his ass.
Elias versus AJ came out, and I was like, "Fuck this, man!" And I turned on
last week,
and I turned on the Pelicans game.
It was basically.
I just turned on the NBA game and I started reading my book. I don't want to fucking watch that shit.
I do not blame you.
It's awful,
dude. Like Geico can save you 15%. I can save you 5 hours a week.
I don't watch it.
No, I watch SmackDown, and Roman Reigns is the reason to watch SmackDown. Sasha's a close second. Outside of that, there's not really too much that interests me on SmackDown.
Roman Reigns and KO are great.
Yeah, but now we're getting to the point where it's getting...
I like Big E, too. No, but I'm not going to watch it because it fucking sucks, man. I'll watch the pay-per-views.
Sometimes. No, I was going to say,
I'll watch
the pay-per-views. Raw is now getting to the point where it's getting to be unwatchable because this logic doesn't...
Getting to the point?
I watch it because I know me. If something happens on Raw, I'll get pissed. But now I'm getting to the point where...
When's the last time something happened on Raw that you would have been pissed off that you would have missed?
Shit, it's been a minute.
Yeah, no shit.
I guess
it's for fucking ever. You know when the last time something happened on Raw that I would have been pissed off that I missed is when Rollins turned on the Shield.
Yeah.
I'd say, Drew beat Orton for the title, not that long ago. On Raw.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have been pissed about
how the tables have turned. Now Zach and Jason are both defending Raw.
I wouldn't have been pissed about missing that. Okay? The reason why, I guess, it wouldn't have been nearly as egregious if I didn't watch Wrestle Kingdom first. And I knew that coming into that.
Dude, I tweeted that. It was it was like whiplash, man.
It was literally like, what the fuck is happening?
It was like whiplash.
Yeah, it was
watching night one of Wrestle Kingdom on Monday during the day, and then I did a bunch of shit in the afternoon, and then I made dinner, and then I sat down and I watched Raw. And watching Raw after watching 4 straight hours of New Japan Pro Wrestling gives you whiplash, man. You're like, it's not even the same thing. No. It's not even the same art form. It's completely different.
It's so different. I was just like, dude, I can't believe I'm watching this and I'm getting myself more and more worked up because I'm like, dude, this is the dumbest fucking shit. I'm sitting there watching this bullshit. I could be watching something totally different. Totally different. They did that shit on a week where guys like me that okay, I don't want to watch this segment. I'll watch Monday Night Football. Oh, you got me. There's no Monday Night Football on. So that's why they threw this shit out there because they wanted to get that 2 million people watching the shit.
Plus, why didn't Goldberg lose his contract when he almost killed Mark Calloway?
Dude.
A match I still haven't watched.
You ain't watching that shit?
No. I told you guys I wasn't going to watch it.
Man, if you need to laugh in life.
Just a friendly reminder, whenever we started this podcast, Raw was averaging 4 million viewers.
And what's it now?
It was 2.11 for the Monday night.
On a really good week.
Yeah, with no Monday Night Football.
With no Monday Night Football, it's just over 2 million viewers. And
Hogan and Flair.
Right, okay.
And Hogan and Flair.
So what you think it's going to go back to next week? This is why I have the problem with the Goldberg effect, quote unquote. It was 1.7 the week before. It was 2.1. So 400,000 people watch, and that's supposed to be an effect? Get the fuck out of here. Goldberg is not that dude anymore. He was hardly that dude then.
He was hardly that dude then. That's the main point, man, is that he had, and I was watching it when it happened. I was a Nitro dude. That's when I started watching wrestling in my adult life. It was 1999, and I used to go up to Cam Bigelow's dorm room at 410 Laws at Mizzou, and we used to watch fucking wrestling, and we drink Mickey's 40s and smoke weed, and we would have so much fun, and we loved Goldberg. That was during the Clinton administration.
Jesus.
That's how long ago it was. I know that I'm old. I know that we're old, me and Jason. I know that Zach's not as old as us, but that's how long ago it was. And Goldberg's still riding that shit because he got booked like crazy by Bischoff.
Which, I, upon retrospect, I get, but now it's getting to the point where it is not even realistic that Drew and Goldberg should be in the same ring. I'm sorry.
Listen, I hope, against hope,
Drew better win.
I hope that Drew squashes him.
Drew better win.
I hope it's just a fucking Claymore kick. Boom, you're dead, Goldberg.
Be done with it.
And then I hope he actually kills him.
Jason said that if Goldberg wins, he won't watch Raw. He's booking himself into an Enzo Amore 205 Live.
Who said that? Who said that?
I did.
Jason said it. He said if Goldberg wins, he won't watch Raw anymore. And he said that thing with Enzo, and he didn't watch 205 Live forever.
I would not do it.
I bet.
I would not waste my 3 hours of my life like that. That is bullshit.
Well, I mean, watching it live that's a sucker's game unless you got something else to watch, like the Pelicans or like the NBA.
Dude, I should have watched the NBA, and that's where the
Pelicans Pacers was a
it was
burner.
A really good game, and then fucking. That's what I'm okay. See, that's what I'm saying. There's no so then if Goldberg's champ, then what? We're not going to have a champion on TV for months until WrestleMania. Get the fuck out of here. There is no reason in the world that Goldberg should be walking up. This motherfucker just came off the side of the milk carton, walked up, pointed at Drew McIntyre, was like, "Look, I don't like you. You disrespectful. I want a shot at the title." And that's supposed to be what's going to happen. There's a whole motherfucking gang of motherfuckers in the back that's probably looking at the TV like, well, damn, I wish I could do that shit. Y'all know this is arguably the best roster in the world, and that's what you come up with? Get the fuck out of here. Goldberg wins. I'm done.
Who's a bigger heel on this podcast? Bill Goldberg or Bill Vagey?
Right now, it's Goldberg by a mile.
That'll do it for the 3 count.
I think it's Goldberg because of the Jew.
2, 3.
Oh, shit. I didn't mean to shit on your joke, dude. What'd you say?
I probably shouldn't.
You probably should.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to hear it. You guys can rewind that later on. I hope that
or
here.
Don't.
A couple things that we missed, odds and ends. For the record, I think that the Darby Allin weigh-in thing, I think that I like a weigh-in segment as opposed to a contract signing.
It's the same thing, dude.
No, a contract signing is not the same thing as a weigh-in. I don't know why I have to explain this to you.
It's the same thing.
Sonya Deville is back?
Question mark.
I mean, she was back.
Did she wrestle, or did we just see her backstage?
No, but they said her name.
Okay, so what?
That means she's back.
That doesn't mean shit.
But
It's WWE.
Wasn't she supposed to not be back?
Thank
though?
you.
Isn't that the whole point of the stipulation was
Not
loser
to be
leaves
back.
town?
Loser leaves town. She's back on the
Guys, how many losers?
She's back on the show that she lost the match on.
Are you guys like wrestling neophytes? Do you guys know that all that shit's bullshit?
Only in WWE land.
Thank you. Where the stipulations matter, where, like Jericho said, now it makes sense.
Okay.
Sorry, but if you brought it up. Look,
I'm just trying to do some odds and ends
I
here.
would love to have Sonya Deville come back. I would love it. I thought her and Mandy Rose had one of the better feuds in a long, long time.
I didn't ask for this much about Sonya Deville.
Well, you shouldn't have said nothing about Sonya Deville, dumbass.
You're right. What a dick face. So we had Wesley Blake and Something Cutler. They are now called the Knights of the Lone Wolf. Seems kind of antithetical to the Lone Wolf, but
dude, for real, like if you're a lone wolf, like you ride alone, you don't like get some like racist Twitter dude to ride with you.
No, which
No,
one?
that's
No,
not-
which,
that's
which
not-
one's
they
the
ain't-
racist? The
they ain't the
racist.
racist. They ain't the racist.
The
Jackson
racist
Ryan
is the one that hangs out with
Elias.
Elias, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say.
I mean, let's be honest.
Let's
Let's be
separate the
honest.
white guys. Let's separate the white guys and identify them correctly. Racists go with Elias.
Let's be honest. They all could have stormed the Capitol yesterday. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode are now called. I'm glad they have a tag team nickname. I'm not real happy about the name. Do you know what it's called?
I saw it on their shirt and I was just like, is that their Is that her name?
They're called the Dirty Dogs.
Dogs, okay. They said
They're called the what?
The Dirty Dogs.
What?
DAWGZ.
Okay, Z, yeah.
The Dirty Dogs.
They said it 2 weeks before on their promo.
They're a 2006 softball team that Jason and I used to play against in Forest Park.
For real.
Beat that bow tag like nobody's business. Fine. Just if Street Profits are going to lose, just do it now and figure it out. I don't care. I just don't care. That's what I'm saying. I don't care about this part of SmackDown. I'm there for Roman Reigns and what's happening with Roman Reigns.
KO. I mean, KO's
KO
A+ all the time.
Well, KO in this point, like I said a couple weeks ago, I think he's a perfect foil for Roman, especially in ring, because KO will bounce and sell for Roman at every fucking turn.
You agree, though, that KO is A+ promo, like babyface promo against Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, like he is killing it, right?
I never had. My only problem was with Roman be able to keep up, and Roman's been able to keep up. I was never worried about KO coming in.
That's
in
music
million
to my ears. Anything else? No, not really. I mean, Big E went up against King Corbin. He won, and then finally a baby
black on black crime.
Finally, a babyface in WWE has somebody come out and save him because Apollo Crews came out and helped out Big E, and now Big E has announced his open challenge. He's doing an Intercontinental Open Challenge every week, and next week's going to be him versus Apollo Crews. Which
the brothers, no, y'all ain't supposed to fight. Y'all supposed to stay together.
Yeah, but as a white guy, I'm looking forward to that.
No, it should be a good match. It'd be good to see Apollo Crews back.
No, I've always been a big Apollo Crews guy, going way back, because the guy is
athletic as fuck.
He's a dynamo.
Yeah,
he is really
Nation, baby.
He is really something to watch in the ring.
Yeah, he's just.
And I love Big E forever.
Just wrong place, wrong time for Apollo Crews right now.
I would love to see Big E flip heel at some time.
I think they should have did it when, instead of having Brock Lesnar win the title, you could have had. Well, I wouldn't even go that far. You could have put
I'd love
Big
to see Big E versus Brock Lesnar.
You could have put Big E against Kofi to break up New Day if you wanted to break them up, which you did anyway. So you could have had Big E turn heel, have Big E get over while Kofi goes over, and then if you wanted to throw Kofi to Brock Lesnar, knock yourself out.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you're going to split up New Day, why not do a big angle turn instead of just having Stephanie McMahon?
Okay, yeah, because don't get me wrong.
So much money on the table.
The draft was good just because it was kind of unexpected. But the way I just threw up, or just have Big E flip heel in general, would have been so much more impactful, where you'd have been like, oh, shit, Big E. Because who's going to stop Big E? Kofi wouldn't have been able. Obviously, Kofi would have been surprised. Xavier Woods have been in the fourth row because Big E is just like twice his size. So, I mean, Big E would have been stomping on two guys at once and then would have challenged Kofi for the title. Please.
Let that man book the territory. That's going to do it for our odds and ends.
This is banned from ringside.
All right, we got a bunch of birthdays. I think last week we only had 4. Jason, you wouldn't know. You didn't listen. We got a bunch of birthdays this week. Chavo Guerrero.
Alive?
No, that ain't right. Oh, he's 50. Okay. Darby Allin is 28. Chavo's 50. Darby Allin's 28. I hope he gets a nice birthday at Showbiz.
See.
Chuck E. Cheese for all you people out of the area.
See.
Bushwhacker Luke would have been 74. Is Bushwhacker Luke?
I'm pretty sure he's a DOA.
Bad Luck Fale, do you have a guess?
I am this age, so I will say he is 45.
Do you have a guess, Zach, on Bad Luck Fale?
Let's go with 37.
39.
Damn.
Zach was closer than you, and he didn't go over. Zach, you win. Chris Masters, who was just on this Royal Rumble, 38. Todd Grisham is 45. Ruby Riott, happy birthday. Happy 30th, Ruby Riott. You're cool. Buff Bagwell is 51.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
It feels like he should be like older.
Grandmaster Sexay, RIP, would have been 49 this week. Tamina is 43. Abdul the Butcher, who gave a bunch of guys hepatitis, right? He would have been 80. Shad Gaspar, RIP this year, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was a cool dude. He would have been 40 this year. Yujiro Takahashi.
Very much alive.
Yes, for sure. I love him. He's turning 40 this week.
Which one is he, Bill?
I know which one he is.
No,
he's the one that laid down for Jay White.
Yes!
I can tell the Japanese guys apart. It's the white ones I don't know. I know who Yujiro Takahashi is, Zach. Do not offend me like that. He's the second member of the Young Bucks. And Mason Ryan is 39.
Mason Ryan, those are the first names of the Young Bucks, right?
I think that's actually right. That's a good point. Hey, everybody. We know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast.
I'm in tears.
For F&B Eatery,
Check.
for Joey O'Farrell,
Check.
for Lucha Chris,
Check.
for Xander the Cats.
Check.
Hey, check out Wrestling at the Grandel first podcast.
Check out Wrestling at the Grandel. You can find it on BFR Pod, at BFR Pod on
Spotify,
Twitter.
Apple products, all that good shit.
For Zach Pullman, that's Jason Bell on
Check,
Bill
check.
Veggie. Support your local weed
Check.
dealer. Black Lives Matter.
Check.
Boo the heels.
Woo!